Hello and thanks for joining me today as we're going to take a tutorial through the 31P1 software. As you can see here on my screen, we are at 31p1.com, so that's where you'll go to log into your new software for your new and exciting company benefit of a 31P1 saving in gold. You'll go over to the login button on the far right screen, and you can see here that as the employer you'll click on employer login. So we'll go ahead and do that. It'll come up to the employer login screen, and down here it shows the email address and the password that you have preset as the employee that purchased the 31P1 software. So in my case, it's already entered into this particular software. But if it's not, you would put in your email address and then your password, and then you will click login. And it'll bring you into your 31P1 web-based software. And so the dashboard here on the home page of the software shows settings, employees, and pay period. Over on the left you see dashboard, which is where we're at, employees, pay period, reports, enrollment forms, and support, and we'll walk through each of these as we go. Step one, as you can see, well, before I go there, I wanted to point out that here in your back office on the 31P1 software, you can see that the 5 different denominations for the gold is here: 1 gram, 5 gram, 10 gram, half ounce, and 1 ounce. And the current price as we look at it right now, so each time that you go in, these prices will be the current price for the 31P1 gold that your employees are saving in. So back up to settings. This is where in account settings, step 1, you will set up your company. So the first time that you go into your software, you'll want to set your company up, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that. In this particular instance, this company is already set up, so I'm just going to walk through the very simple process here. You can see the different things, and we'll walk through those right quickly. First thing you can do is, if you have a company logo, you can choose to upload that, and what will happen is that logo will be on all of the 31P1 paperwork. So the reports, the guidelines, and everything will have your logo on it at the top, so that it's coming from your company. So you would just click on choose file, go into your I'll click on that and show you, go into your documents to find your logo, click on it, and then you would come back and upload the file, and it will appear right here. And if it's the right one, you know it's what you want, then that will be what will appear on all of your files, on all of your paperwork for the 31P1. Here you'll enter your company name, hit update company name. You'll put the email address of whomever is going to be handling the software for you, whether it's yourself as the employer, or if you have an accountant, or if you have a payroll clerk, or a comptroller, whoever. This is where that employee or that person's email address would go. And something else I'll point out very quickly is anytime you enter something on the software, if there's an update below it, immediately below that, always make sure you click on that so that it'll automatically update. Your password, you set that up with your rep, but here's where you can come in and change that, and you would just put in the password and confirm the new password, and then hit update password. Down here in the company setup, you can have locations. So if your business has multiple locations, you would just enter the name of the location, however you want to name it. Maybe a city, maybe an address, however you want to do it. So the software allows you to have one or up to as many locations as you have, and you would just enter the new location, hit add location, it'll appear here. If you entered it wrong, or you decide that location no longer exists, you would just hit the X, and that one will go away. Under the company match settings, this is where what you as the employer is going to match on your employee's 31P1 Gold Savings account. So you would go in here and click on the country that you're at, and enter that, write it in, and then the region enrolled in the United States would be a state. You'd find your state, put that in. Your pay frequency is how often that you run payroll, and of course we've got virtually every way possible here. So you choose the one that matches the way you run payroll, click on that. Probation period is set up so that you can decide when you want your employer contribution to kick in. So you may have a probation period for your employees currently that before they start receiving benefits, and of course that's what you would put in here. Or if they can start receiving a match the very first time they start the 31P1, then you would hit enter 0. But this gives you, the employer, some flexibility on when you want your match to start kicking in. This particular case, it was a 90-day probation period for this company. Company contribution is based on the percentage that you're going to match of your employee's savings account. So you would enter that percentage here. Or if you choose, you can do a flat contribution. You may decide instead of a percentage of what each employee saves that you're going to match, you just want to do a flat contribution to every single employee. They're all getting the same amount. In that case, you would enter that number here. Maybe it's $25 a pay period, and you'd enter it here. And this percentage would be 0 at that point, and the flat contribution would be 25. So you have that flexibility as an employer how you want to contribute. Also here under this max contribution per employee per pay period, you can cap what you as the employer are going to match. And this number here is what would be that cap. So that if you were matching 17%, the maximum that you would match on an employee savings would be up to $30.60. The last column is match changes per employee per year. So that allows you to set a cap on how many times the employee can come to you as an employer and say, I want to change what I'm saving. You may want to let them do it as many times as they want, or you may tell them they can only do it annually, or they can do it twice a year. In this case, twice a year was what was chosen. And then once all of that information is entered, you would hit Update Match Settings, and it will save all of that. So that takes care of setting your company up, which is pretty painless. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard. And now we're going to look at step 2, which is manage your employees. So the first time that you set up your 31P1, you will, of course, use this. And then any time that an employee changes or comes on or leaves the benefit plan, you would go into manage your employees. So I'm going to go ahead and click on step 2. And we've got 2 different options. You can either import or enter add individual employees. So I'll look at import employees using Excel first. I'm going to click on the download the spreadsheet. So our software shows you in an Excel spreadsheet what information you will need to gather from your software, your accounting software, that you could then use your accounting software to put these things into an Excel spreadsheet, that you can import to or export, to a Excel spreadsheet. And this just shows you how that needs to look from their first name, last name, their ID, what they're contributing, the employee's email, their password, and they will set this up at the time of rollout or at the time that they sign on to the 31P1. And the reason they need an employee email and employee password is that it's going to allow them to go into the 31p1.com website and look at their accounts at any time that they want to, and they won't have to ask you where they stand. They'd be able to go to the website and log in, and that's why the employee email and password are here. Their employment start date, what they're saving in, the gold volume, their marital status, their exemptions, and the location that they are at. So once you have that, you can then upload it to this software. You choose the file, and it will automatically integrate with our software on 31P1 here. Or you can go down and you can add employees individually, and you can see again, you just enter what needs to be entered, their email, their password, their ID, the location that they're at, their first and last name, exemptions, marital status, what they're contributing, the threshold that they want to purchase at, and the 5 different ways that they can save, and then their start date. Something I want to point out is that any of these windows, just look at it, and that is how it always shows you how or what needs to be entered. So like in a date, it shows you the month, the day, and the year, and this is the way it needs to be. So in this case, if this employee started on May 10th of 2015, I would enter 05/10/2015, and then the termination date is that. So obviously, if an employee leaves, you can come into your software and put that in at that time, and then you would click Add New Employee. Now, once you've either done it this way by importing from an Excel spreadsheet or entered them individually, once you're complete, you can go right up here and you can either search for an employee by name and location, or you can view all employees, and that will bring up all the employees. And in this part of the software, you can click on Edit each individual employee, and you can disable them or enable them. And you can go in and look at that employee, their current balance. Here's where is a neat thing, that if you had an employee that you want to give a bonus to and you're going to apply it to their savings account, their gold savings account, you can go into their software and enter that number here and hit Submit Bonus. When you do that, let's say that this employee, we wanted to give a $100 bonus this pay period to their gold savings account, their 31P1. So I would come in here and put in $100 right here, hit submit bonus, and their balance will automatically adjust right then. So you'll see that. You just make sure that you hit submit bonus, and whatever you put there will jump over to here. And in this case, if it was $100, this balance then, current balance, would jump up to $141.69, and then this would go back to zero. Here they can change their password. They have to come to you to get that done. If they decided they want to change their password that allows them to log into their account online at 31p1.com, they want to change it, they'll come to you and tell you, and you'll have to come in here, pull up the employees, and go into their account and change their password. Click change password. Here's where you can disable an employee. Let's say that they decide they're going to come off of the plan for a while, but they may come back on. They're not terminated, they're just coming off of the plan. You can come in and disable them, and they decide to come back on. In this case, this person is disabled. I can go back and enable them at any time, which will put them back into the plan. Their first and last name, their employee ID, their email address would need to be here, where they're at, all their information, and then you would click update employee. On this particular employee's case, if there was changes made, you hit update employee and it will happen for you. So that is the employees. I'll go back one more time here to the setup sheet for the employees, and you can see again where that is at. You can show all of them. You can search by name and by location. Back to the dashboard. You're ready to go with your 31P1 software. You've got your company set up. You've got your employees now set up. And now you can go to step 3 on the very first pay period that you're going to have this 31P1 Gold Savings Plan going for your employees, and you would click on step 3, which is submit a new pay period, and it's going to bring this up, the add or remove pay period. Right here in this, every time you go here, it will be the day that you're looking at the software. So if today was the last day of my pay period and I'm in here, then it's correct, and I could just click add new pay period, and it's going to this most recent pay period in this case was 3/31. Well, if today ended my pay period for my company and it was 4/23, I would just click add new pay period, and this would all change, and it would be the current savings. It would show each employee what their beginning balance was all the way across here, what they're purchasing in, and then their ending account balance. And it will also automatically generate if they hit a threshold to buy gold. And so you can see some of them are zeros, some of them are ones. They're all saving in 1 gram. The current price when I run this pay period was $51.80. And again, I'm looking at a previous pay period. So the most recent pay period for this company was 3/31 of 2016. And this is what happened on that pay period, what the price of the gold was that they were saving in, what they were saving in, and how much was purchased for them, and then each employee's individual account balance. And down here in the bottom it says order totals. This company is saving all in 1 gram, so 37 grams were needed to be purchased after this pay period. And right here on the buy gold is where you would go. You would click buy gold here, and it's going to take you to another screen, and it's going to break down each one. It's basically going to be this report, but just not showing all the employees. It's just going to show how many grams you need to buy, and then you'll follow the process there as you will as the system will take you through that, and you will email will be generated to us and tell us that 37 grams needs to be bought on your behalf, and you will also follow the steps to pay for the gold through ACH or wire. And so that is where you buy the gold at the end of each pay period. Once you've hit add new pay period, you scroll down, you take a look, hit buy gold, and it will go there. If you happen to have a mistake made and you forgot an employee came off, or they changed their contribution, or you forgot to add in, you were going to give them a bonus, or any mistake that happens, don't get worried about it. Just go right up here and you can delete that pay period. So one click, you can go back into the employees right over here, fix the issue, and then come back to pay period, put in the proper pay period ending date, and hit add new pay period, and it'll automatically post for you, and it'll have your changes in there. And then you can go down and hit buy gold. So you want to make sure before you hit the buy gold button that everything is correct, that what you put in was right, and then at that point you'll click buy gold and everything will move into motion to the 31P1 email will be generated to us, and you will pay for the gold that need to be bought at this pay period, and it will all happen for you automatically. You can also, if you had a bunch of mistakes, didn't realize it, you can always go back in and delete all pay periods and then start over. We just added that feature in case there was a mistake that maybe you didn't catch. You started to pay the 31P1 and then 3 months later you realized that there was an error and it was on all the pay periods, so you can delete them. And of course then you go back in and re-enter them once you've cleared up the mistakes. So that is pay period, and that is step 3, and that really takes you through the process. But before we go on and look at the reports that will be printed, I'm going to go ahead and go into the enrollment forms. Click on that. And this is, if you'll remember back to company settings, this is where I was talking about when you put all of your company settings in, that it would go to the enrollment forms and it would go to the guidelines. So this is what you will print the first time that you and your 31P1 rep roll this out to your company. And then you will also have these pre-printed, and in your new employee handbooks or paperwork, as you bring new employees on, this paperwork will be in that paperwork. But the employee 31P1 enrollment form, this is what you're going to hand out to your employees, and they're going to fill this information in. They're going to choose what they're going to participate in, what they're going to save in, their amount, all the information we talked about that the software needs. And they, of course, have the option to not participate in this benefit plan that you are offering, but probably find that most employees will want to participate because of your match. And then right here, the statement, I understand that the dollar amount that I filled in above will be deducted from my paycheck each pay period. I understand that I will be able to make up to 2 changes per year. In this case, this company, if you remember back in settings, they set up that they could make 2 changes per year. The employee will sign it and date it. It shows an analysis based on the day you printed this, just so that they can take a look at what this does for them and how they're buying the gold over or under spot with your match. And of course the match on this company was 17%, but it is post-tax, so the full match after the taxes are withheld ends up being 15.7%. Anyway, this gold analysis just shows the employee as of that day when they're looking at this report how they would be affected if they were saving on which one of these denominations and how much under spot based on your match they would be. So you can see in this case that if they were saving in the ounce, they're actually buying it after your match with their own money at almost 30% under spot price. So it's a great deal for the employees. It's a great benefit plan that you're offering to your employees. The guidelines, we have 2 different steps of guidelines as we have 2 different options. The first option is that the employee can choose to receive their gold in their hand at the end of each quarter. So if they choose option 1, this is the guidelines to go with that. They would fill in their name here, printed, and then sign and date it. And this paperwork would be handed back in with the enrollment form. And the guidelines here for option 1, which is they're going to receive their physical gold into their possession. Option 2 guidelines is if they decide they want to stay in the enroll in the exchange program and 31P1, our company will vault their gold. So again, this is the guidelines for that. And if they choose option 2, they would print their name, sign here and date here, and this page would be turned back in with the enrollment form. So when you roll this out with your 31P1 rep to your company, every employee will receive these pages. And then they will have the opportunity after you've gone over them with them and your rep has gone over them with them to choose. And so every single employee will need to fill out at least page 1, and even if they're not participating, and that way they sign it and date it, and you have record that you did go over this with them, they chose not to participate. So all employees would fill this out and then choose which one they want to participate in, and then also choose either option 1, which means they're going to receive their physical gold every quarter, or option 2, they're going to be in an exchange program with 31P1, and our company will vault their gold for them. Okay? So go back to the software. We'll close that out. So that was the enrollment forms. Now we'll look very quickly at the reports. And as the employer and as the employees, you have employer reports and also quarter reports that you will hand out at the end of each quarter to the employees, whether they're in option 1 or option 2. They will receive a report. So for the employer quarterly reports, I'm going to click on employer quarter 1. Up here at the top, you can see it gives you the option of what year. Choose the year you want to hit and then hit search. And then it's going to break this down for me as the employer by location. Okay. I'm going to close that and go back. So I've got all 4 quarters. And again, remember that it showed the year up there that I can look at. And then pay periods, quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Or I can hit view all employees. So at the end of each quarter, and I'll go ahead and click on quarter 1 reports, you will run these reports because you're going to hand these reports out to your employees either with the physical gold if they chose option 1, or you will hand them out to even those that chose option 2 that 31P1 is vaulting their gold so that they have record of what they saved. And this is taking just a minute to load, but while we wait, these reports you'll print 2 for each employee, and one for them to keep, one for them to sign and hand back to you to go into their employee file. And what that does, and as it comes up here, again, you can look at the top and you can search by year, and you would click search and it'll go. So quarter 1, and this employee was inactive in this particular quarter, so it's showing all zeros. So I'll scroll down to someone that was active. So here we go. So on this employee, you can see what they saved for each pay period that was entered, all of the bonuses and deferred contributions and employer contributions and everything, what they were contributing, their volume that they were purchasing in, the price on that day that the pay period ended, and then what was bought with their money and your match, their ending balance. So then here in quarter 1, what they saved, the incentive bonus in this case was added. Here's the total contribution. They 3 1-gram bars were bought on their behalf. Shows their year-to-date gold value based on the current pricing. And they would get 2 of these. One that they will print their name here, sign it, and date it, and hand back to you, and then one for them to keep a hard copy. And that would be done whether they are in option 1, where if they are in option 1, then you will also hand with this report the physical gold that we ship to you in the month following the quarter that ended. They will get that gold. They'll count it. In this case, this employee would say, okay, I got 3 grams. They would have that physical gold. They would print their name, sign it, date it, hand it back to you to go in their employee file. Or if they're on the option 2, which is 31P1 vaulting the gold, the exchange option, then they would still get this. They just wouldn't get their physical gold. But they would acknowledge that this is in their account. They would print their name, sign it, date it, and hand it back to you. And of course, you saw the print option at the top. So view all employees, I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and this just shows you each employee. One thing that I did want to point out is there's a lifetime button, so maybe you've been doing this now for 4 years. You can always click on lifetime for that employee, and you'll see it'll show the entire time they've been on the 31P1. So that's the reports. Again, you've got the employer reports. It just group them for you. A very easy report for you to look at what's been contributed on your behalf and what the employees have contributed on theirs. The quarter reports are for you to print out quarterly and hand out to the employees, and then they sign and hand back to you for their file. You can search employees by location, by name here. And so that's the reporting. The last thing I'm going to show you here on the 31P1 software is support. So you as the employer, whoever does your payroll, whoever it is that needs to ask questions can come right here to support. Put their name, or if it's you, put your name, the email address associated, how you want to be contacted, and then the message. So if you have a question, if you have a concern, if you've got an issue, you can hit that here, send the message, and the 31P1 team will be in contact with you within 1 business day. So within 24 hours, 1 business day. If you happen to run into an issue over the weekend, then it won't be until 1 business day, Monday, before we get back to you. But this is where you can go, and this will generate the report or a message and send it to support@31p1.com. Our team will then contact this person at this email address and answer the question, or if we need to reach out to you and walk you through something, we'll do it at that point. So that was the 31P1 software tutorial. As you can see, very user-friendly. I've gone back to the dashboard and the settings, the employees, and the pay periods there. But very user-friendly, and we hope you enjoy your software. We think that this plan is a great benefit plan, and we appreciate you coming on board with us at the 31P1 as part of our 31P1 team. The last thing I'll show you is right up here on the right side, this little button. You click on that and it says, you want to log out? Are you sure? And I'm going to click yes. And now it's going to take me back to 31p1.com. So before I finish here today on the 31p1 software tutorial, I want to show you once again that right here on the 31p1.com website, log in. This is where your employees will go when they want to look at their individual accounts. And if you'll recall back in the setup feature, the employee and in their enrollment forms, they put in their email address and a password, and this is where they will go to log into their account on the 31p1.com website, and they will be able to look at their account anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They can see where they're at in their savings account on this fantastic employee benefit plan that you are now offering. The 31P1, turning spending habits into saving habits. Great motto that we should all live by. Again, thank you for joining me. That sums up our 31P1 software tutorial.